I grew up surrounded by faith, shuttling between my parents' different churches. My mother and father, devoted to their respective congregations, never forced me to choose. Something about my father's church resonated deeply within me. From a young age, I began experiencing vivid dreams that would later come true. As I entered adulthood, I had a disturbing dream. On the stage of my father's church, I saw a creature with multiple tails, its presence filling me with dread. Shaken, I shared my dream with my mother. Her expression changed from concern to alarm. The next day, I found my mother severely ill, unable to speak. Her condition worsened rapidly, leaving me consumed by worry and guilt. Doctors were baffled by her illness, and I was left with unanswered questions. My mother passed away, leaving me reeling. My father, devastated, became even more entrenched in his church. I took on more responsibilities there, noticing strange occurrences. Church members acted strangely, as if under some influence. My dreams continued, more vivid and disturbing. I began suspecting my father's church was hiding something sinister. After my mother's passing, the church's pastor took a particular interest in me, emphasizing that God had given me a special gift. According to him, my dreams and visions were signs of divine favor, indicating I was destined to take over the church. He believed the church required a leader with spiritual depth, someone attuned to God's will. I found it ironic that this man of God, who preached about family values, had no wife by his side. He claimed God had taken his wife, calling her home so he could serve without distraction. The pastor's words stirred conflicting emotions within me. Part of me felt honored, chosen for a greater purpose. Another part sensed unease, questioning the pastor's motives and the church's true nature. My father was resolute, supporting the pastor's assertion that I had a gift and should embrace my destiny. As I navigated this pressure, I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss. The pastor's solo status, his unwavering dedication, and the strange occurrences within the church contributed to my growing unease. I tried to share my concerns with my father, but he wouldn't listen. He was too enthralled with the church and its pastor, constantly praising him. My attempts to discuss my dreams and potential connections to my mother's passing fell on deaf ears. Frustrated, I began to question whether my father truly cared about me or just saw me as a tool for the church's advancement. Weeks before the pastor's passing, I started having recurring dreams. In them, I received the key to the church, and surprisingly, the pastor was handing it to me. Then the unthinkable happened. The pastor passed away, and suddenly, I was thrust into the spotlight. It seemed everyone had been prepared for my ascension, as if the pastor had groomed me for this role all along. I couldn't refuse the position. The expectation was palpable. As I took over, I drew upon my extensive knowledge of the Bible, honed from years of devotion. Quoting scriptures came effortlessly, and my confidence grew. But beneath the surface, doubts lingered. Was I truly called to lead, or was I a pawn in a larger game? My personal growth and desires began to resurface, questioning whether this path aligned with my true purpose. Now, as the new leader, I stood at the pulpit, gazing out at the expectant faces. The weight of responsibility settled upon me, and I wondered, what lay ahead, and would I find the courage to forge my own path? A month after taking over, I began to sense an unsettling presence whenever I stepped onto the stage. It was as if something was standing beside me, its breathing audible. At first, I thought it might be the Holy Spirit, but deep down, I knew it was something else. This entity seemed to be connected to the church's foundation, and its power was undeniable. It was healing, performing miracles and drawing in crowds. I couldn't deny its effectiveness, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. I confided in my father, sharing my concerns about the presence. But it wasn't long before he passed away, similar to my mother's passing. I was left alone, grappling with the weight of my responsibilities. As I delved deeper, I discovered a disturbing pattern. People were dying at the church, yet new members kept flocking in. It dawned on me that I had made a grave mistake by taking over something I didn't build. I realized, to my horror, that I had become a servant to a malevolent force. Everything seemed perfect from afar, but I was now entangled in a web of darkness. This entity had become a part of me, controlling my actions. I felt an unholy synchronization with it, feeding on the church's energy. I was trapped, bound to this entity. The lines between good and evil blurred, and I lost myself in this darkness. Days passed, and the church's influence grew. People flocked to hear me preach, mesmerized by the entity's power. But I knew the truth. I was a puppet, a mere vessel for this dark force. As I stood at the pulpit, I felt the entity's presence coursing through me. Its voice whispered in my ear, guiding my words. I preached of love and redemption, but the entity's true intentions seeped into my messages. The congregation grew, and so did the entity's power. I was consumed, unable to resist its will. My dreams, once filled with divine purpose, now revealed the horrors I'd unleashed.